Foni, I'd like to ask you about your personal story. You were born in Kenya, and your parents sought asylum after a civil war caused them to flee to Sudan. Can you help us understand how you thought about those experiences as a child and how that influences the way that you live now?
I think for me, growing up until the age of 10, I think I was very innocent. I didn't realize I was different. I always knew I'm a normal child, going about the different experiences. And when I got to realize I was different was when one day I was working from school, and because my siblings, traditionally South Sudanese, are supposed to be tall, dark, and I was a bit lighter. So my siblings were bullied all the way from school to home. And then at that particular moment is when I realized I was different, different in terms of my status. I realized I was not home. And when I got back home, we talked about this with my parents. And since then, growing up, I realized I was part of this community, but then I am a refugee. And as I was growing up, I would see my mom and my dad doing quite a lot of the community work. My dad is a journalist, was a journalist. He would work in the community, and he was following the South Sudanese peace process and really just talking about it, very patriotic, speaking about it. And then on the other hand, my mom was busy in the community, working with the women, training them on skills, on just making crafts to promote self-reliance. And as I kept growing up, that really shaped my experiences, because I felt, well, I am different, but then I really loved the aspect of journalism, but then at the same time, I loved the aspect of being in the community. And then this really influenced me. That particular journey then began for me. And as a young woman, I realized I am displaced. I need to do something for my community. I ended up deciding that because of the educational opportunities and challenges that refugees would face, that for me was the starting point. I set out to really become a role model for other women, for other young girls through that particular space that I could influence at that time. And that's where it started. So I tried very hard to do the best in school. Of course, with uncertainty, you're not sure at what point you will transition to the next stage. So whatever opportunity I would get, I would try to really set the best example so that other young people can also refer and say, if Foni made it, other young girls can say, I can also make it. And my siblings, I have 4 sisters, and I really wanted for them to also feel that they can make it despite of the challenges that we were facing. And this really just continued for me, and opportunities would open up. I took up those opportunities, which led me to complete my studies. And as I was completing my studies, I still felt there was a gap. There was a gap in terms of how young women were being engaged, on how young women were being, how they could participate in some of these particular processes, if it's the peace building processes, if it's even speaking about the challenges they were facing as young girls in school. And that really led me to just take up the space and started advocacy at the local level. So any opportunity to speak up in meetings, I would raise up my hand and just say, well, you see, I'm a young girl, and these are some of the things I'm facing. And if I'm facing this, I also imagine my fellow women in the community are facing this. And that slowly graduated. And I think opportunities really also shaped up me becoming a global leader.